Game 6 of this first round series, and yet another opportunity to put this series to bed. You know, I think this Leafs team is different. I think they can win this series on the road. They did so 2 years ago against Tampa on the road in Game 6. I feel like they can do this. I'm just really scared that if this series goes to 7, we're not winning this series. Game 6 of this first round series. We forced a Game 5 after winning Game 4. We forced Game 6 after winning Game 5. One more win and we can force a Game 7. Winner take all. Who knows what would happen there? We just need one more win. I'm gonna give Toronto a late power play first. You know what? We've done really good to kill off power plays at this point in time. Over the past 2 games, we just keep on going. You know the stats on Toronto. We could just do this, and they've scored a power play goal. Finally, the power play drought in playoff clinching games has ended. Matthews, great shot. That's probably a gaffe on Allmark, but still. Great stuff for Matthews. All 3 of the big 3, not including Tavares, have a point on that goal. Love to see it. We're up 1-0 after 1. Great stuff. We're 40 minutes away from putting the Senators to bed. You know what? Allowing a power play goal and having a lot of the core 4 contribute on it was not really good, but we're only down 1-0. We've come back from trailing earlier in the series. I still believe we can tie this game up and win this game to send it to 7. Would you look at that? In front, Nylander. What a goal! William Nylander. 2-point night for Nylander. The core 4 is contributing. The Leafs are up 2-0 less than a minute into the second period. And would you look at that? Allmark, that's one that you really need to save. And we're now down 2-0. Once again, we've come back from 2-0 before. There's still plenty of game left, but we need to score that next goal to have any shot coming back in this game and in this series. Would you look at that? What a tip! What a goal! Brady Tkachuk! 7th point of the first round series. My goodness, Tkachuk is having himself a series. Only down 2-1. We are not out of this yet. Not again. You know, we still have a 2-1 lead, but you know this Maple Leafs team blows leads back and forth, especially in playoff clinching games. So we have a lead. I sure hope we're able to hold on to it. So we're up 2-1 after 2. We're 20 minutes away from putting this game to bed. But part of me thinks if Ottawa gets that next goal, this series might be over. You know what? We're down 2-1. We were down 2-0 before, but Tkachuk's made it 2-1. We're only 1 goal away from tying this game up. We still have a shot. We need a goal badly, and the penalty's over. Perron, brought it backhand, score! David Perron! Another beautiful goal to tie this game up. He scored in Game 4 to give us the 3-2 series lead. He scores one of the biggest goals that the Senators have seen in the last decade. Tie this game up at 2 apiece. We still have life. Oh, great. The Senators tied up. This Maple Leafs team with the history it's had, we're going to collapse any minute now, right? I'm not even sure if this game's going to go to overtime. I mean, would anyone be surprised if this game went to overtime? The Sens would... Of all people, Max Pacioretty. He scores his first of the playoffs. His first since December. The Leafs lead 3-2. We're 4 minutes away from winning Game 6. And would you look at that? Just a few minutes after Perron ties it, we're down 3-2. We still have had so many good comebacks. We still have a shot, but like that might be serious. Would you look at that? Nylander, he drives it down. He puts it into the empty net. That's all. 4-2 lead for the Maple Leafs. 4-2 series win for the Maple Leafs. Finally, we ended it. It took us 3 cracks. That's way more than it should have been. But we're advancing to round 2, first time in 2 years. After missing year after year after year. 2 out of the last 3 seasons, we've advanced past round 1. I think it's safe to say those narratives are over. This Maple Leafs team can win first round series. And now we've got the extremely tall task of trying to beat the Florida Panthers in round 2. You know what? This was a decent series. We could have folded and get swept by the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was easily a possibility. But this team was resilient. They fought back. They forced a Game 6. This was longer than any of the other series in the Eastern Conference. And this Senators team is just getting started with the core of Stützle, Tkachuk, Sanderson, Shabbat, Cleven, and Pinto, who are great in this series. This team's going to have a future of being a dominant team in the Eastern Conference for a long period of time. To get the 6 games of playoff experience, and we'll be back here next year. So you get the Toronto Maple Leafs again. Leafs fans, you wanted this. You kept on saying we want Florida. Guess what? You're getting Florida. Last time you said that, we won in 5 games 2 years ago. You know what? I have a good feeling we'll be able to win in 5 games or 6 games again, because the Leafs just cannot beat us. Well, we're in the same boat as the Ottawa Senators, a team who has been missing the playoffs for quite a bit of time. we finally make the playoffs, and with the young players we have a bright future. Sure, we missed out in round 1 this year, but we have a future ahead of us that's so bright, it's going to be quite hard to keep us down. And I feel like this team's going to be a cup contender in 2 to 3 years' time. And when you look at that, the Toronto Maple Leafs won a playoff series. I don't think you can make this stuff up. We missed the playoffs and the Toronto Maple Leafs win a playoff round. You know what? If the Leafs get to the conference final the year that we missed the playoffs, I will be heartbroken. And now going into next round, I just hope that the asteroid hits. Like, I don't want Florida with Marchand to win, and I don't want Toronto to win either. So, like, let's just hope that the asteroid hits. Oh, great, the Leafs won. They did it 2 years ago against us too. And you know what? I feel like losing to the Leafs broke this franchise. Breezed well, like I said in the last video, you better do something in the offseason, because I do not want to lose 4 straight first-round series. Well, look at that. Ottawa misses for 8 years. They get back into the playoffs and win 2 playoff games. Montreal misses the playoffs for 3 years, they get back into the playoffs, and they win a playoff game. Why can't we do anything in the playoffs? Why can't we even make the playoffs? Like I said, this team better be doing some ballsy moves in the offseason to get back into the playoffs next year. And when you look at that, we hold on. That was a tense last few minutes. But 3-1 over Minnesota, we win the series in 6 games, we're advancing to round 2, and Vegas is once again heading to round 2. You know what? We've never lost in the second round, so I think that automatically means we're going to another conference final. That'll be the 5th time in 8 seasons as a Golden Knights franchise that we will have gone to the conference final. I don't care if it's Edmonton, I don't care if it's LA, we're going to steamroll whoever winds up making it. We're the first franchise in hockey, basketball, baseball, or football history to have made the playoffs in 8 of 10 seasons and not won a playoff round. Like, this is a stat that's worse than the Toronto Maple Leafs. Wow, I cannot wait for playoff hockey. Imagine if Utah was able to win a first round series faster than the Wild or the Kings. Like, that would be extremely hilarious. You know what? The fact that we're not as successful as the Golden Knights, it stings, it really does. But at least we're not as bad as the Minnesota Wild. We've won a playoff series in the first 3 years of our existence, and the Wild haven't won a playoff series in 10 seasons. So it could always be worse. You know what? We finally slayed the demons. It took us 3 cracks, but we're into round 2, and now we have to slay another demon. Can we actually beat the Florida Panthers and advance to our first conference final in a long time?